What is the spiritual dream meaning of a podcast?
Look, that's not some hypothetical question. That is the life story of Oprah Winfrey.
Because before she was, Oprah, a global icon, she was a girl the world did everything it could to erase.
Okay, let's just lay it out. Born in 1954, rural Mississippi. Gut-grinding poverty. Sexually abused at just 9 years old. Runs away from home at 13. At 14, she loses a premature son. I mean, the world was telling her, screaming at her in every possible way, you do not matter. Your voice does not matter. And you know what she did? She opened her mouth anyway.
And get this, she was fired from her first TV job. Why? For being too emotionally involved. They told her she was unfit for TV, cried too easily, and every single thing they used against her, that became the very foundation of her empire. What they called a weakness was her greatest strength. It built a lifeline for millions.
You see, her conversations, so intimate, so vulnerable, so spiritually charged, they were literally the blueprint for what we now call a podcast. It was never about just broadcasting information. It was about transmitting soul, creating a space where a voice could be a vessel for healing, for truth, for pure survival.
And listen, this is where it all comes back to you right now. Because if you are dreaming about a podcast, let me be very clear. Your subconscious is not playing games. It is screaming something at you, something your waking life is refusing to hear.
So let's get one thing straight. A dream about a podcast has nothing to do with technology. It's not about media trends. It is your silenced voice. It is your spiritual mission. It's the part of you that has been shut down, and it's finally demanding to be heard. It's telling you one thing. It is time.
Look, your voice is a spiritual instrument, and that's not some cute metaphor. It's a literal conduit. Every single spiritual tradition on this planet, from the Hindu concept of nada, the sacred sound, all the way to in the beginning was the word, they all see the human voice as a primary tool for connecting with the divine. So when you dream of a podcast, you are dreaming of reclaiming that sacred power.
Okay, so let's break this down. Dreaming of a podcast isn't like dreaming of a stage. That's about performance. It's not about a microphone. That's just about being heard. No, the podcast symbol is way more specific. It carries 3 distinct, urgent spiritual signals.
All right, signal number 1. The first urgent message your dream is sending you is all about intimacy.
Think about it. A podcast isn't a speech in a stadium. It's a voice that whispers directly into someone's ear, right? Often when they're alone, maybe in the car, or in the dark. Your soul isn't calling you to perform for the masses. It's calling you into real, raw, one-on-one truth-telling, a direct connection.
Okay, the second signal. This one is about your commitment. And the word here is consistency.
A podcast isn't a one-off thing, right? It's built episode by episode. It's about discipline. It's a commitment. So this stream, it's a call to commit to your message, to your mission with faithful repetition. It's about showing up again and again and again, even when it feels like no one is listening.
And that brings us to the third and final signal. This is about your reach. The word is transmission.
Your voice through a podcast can reach people in cities you will never, ever visit. It can find them at 3 in the morning when they are in crisis. What this dream means is that your message, your healing, it's not just for you. It's not just for your friends. It is meant to travel far beyond your own physical world. So you see, this dream isn't asking if you're ready. Ready is irrelevant. It was never the point. This dream is pushing you past the what and demanding you look at the how. It's forcing you to confront what's really going on inside.
So let's start with this question. In your dream, were you the host or were you the listener? Think about it, because your answer reveals exactly where you're placing your spiritual power right now.
Okay, next question. Was your voice strong and clear, or were you struggling to be heard, straining, maybe whispering? Now ask yourself, which one of those feels more familiar in your day-to-day life?
And the last one, were you speaking to a visible audience, or were you just speaking out into the unknown, into the void? And this is the big one. How comfortable are you with faith? I mean, really, how do you feel about doing something vitally important without any immediate proof that it even matters?
Look, these are not just some interesting questions. This is the work. Your dream is that voice, the one that survived everything, the one that is screaming right now to be heard. Don't just listen to it, honor it.
Part 2. We are not wasting any time. If you've been dreaming about podcasts, your soul is trained to send you a message. Right now, let's decode it.
Let's get one thing straight. Your dream life isn't just some random movie playing in your head at night. It's a diagnostic tool. Every single detail, the room, the equipment, who's listening, it's a spiritual clue that demands your full attention. And one of these descriptions just might be the key to unlocking what you're supposed to do next.
All right, first up, let's talk about the dreams that aren't subtle hints. This is a direct activation. This is your soul handing you a microphone and saying, it's time. So, your dream, you are the host. It's your show. This isn't your ego talking, it's a deep, real willingness to contribute. And look, especially for women, we've been conditioned to mistake this powerful impulse for arrogance, to call our fear humility. This dream is cutting right through that nonsense. The message is simple. Find that one core truth, that one thing that helped you survive, and build from there. Not with fancy gear, but with that single, powerful piece of wisdom.
Dreaming your podcast goes viral is almost always misunderstood as some shallow ambition. It's not. It's spiritual physics. See, the explosive force of your message in the dream, it's directly proportional to how long you've been suppressing it. Your message isn't small. It's dangerously compressed. The dream is a warning, like a pressure valve about to blow. Release it, or it will cost you everything.
So what if you just see the microphone? All by itself, maybe it's even glowing. This dream means you're standing at the threshold of your calling. You can see the tool, but you haven't stepped up to use it yet. And you need to know this. That threshold is the most dangerous place to linger. That's where wasted potential lives. The message is to take one real physical step, right now. Open the voice memo app on your phone and speak for 60 seconds. Go.
But it's not all about speaking. Before you can truly broadcast anything of value, you have to learn how to receive. These next dreams show up when you're running on empty, and they're signaling that it's time to just listen.
Okay, so if you dream you're listening to a podcast that's completely changing you, pay close attention. This is a burnout dream. Your soul is screaming that this is a season for input, not output. You've been giving way too much. It's time to find a teacher in whatever area you feel most drained, and just listen, intentionally. This is how you refuel for whatever's coming next. Dreaming of a specific spiritual teacher goes way beyond just admiring them. Your soul is actually trying to integrate their best qualities into your own being. This is a direct order. Stop passively consuming their wisdom and start actively applying it. Ask yourself, what quality do they have that you need most right now? Bring that into your life today. And what if you dream of wearing headphones? That is a divine whisper. It's a direct transmission that's trying to bypass all the noise in your life. Social media, everyone else's opinions, family drama. Your own soul's voice is being drowned out, and it can't compete with that chaos. The message is simple and it is urgent. Create silence.
Okay, now we have to talk about the most painful dreams. The ones that don't feel like a calling, but feel more like a curse. These dreams are surfacing the core beliefs that are holding you back. The ones that are keeping you silent.
This is one of the most significant and honestly visceral dreams you can have. You're in the middle of speaking and your voice is just gone. You open your mouth and there is nothing but dead air. The terror you feel is real. This dream is digging up a core belief, a piece of toxic code that's running in your subconscious. My voice is not safe. And listen, that belief was installed. A parent, a partner, a boss, someone taught you that. Your job is to trace that silence back to its source, back to that moment, so you can reclaim your own throat. Then you have the grief dream, the one where your podcast gets canceled, shut down. This directly mirrors a silencing in your waking life, a job, a relationship, a project that was taken from you. And here's the hardest question you have to ask. Did you consent to that silencing out of fear? Dreaming of whispering? This reveals a survival strategy that has turned into a wound. At some point, you learn to make yourself small, to be tolerated instead of heard. The only way out of this is to practice volume, both literally and figuratively. Your work is to stop managing other people's comfort at the expense of your own truth. That's not your burden to carry for them. So after you confront that inner silence, the dreams start to shift. They move from the internal battle to your external creation. This is about the legacy you are meant to build with your voice. So you dream you're a guest on someone else's show. Well, that's your subconscious calling you out.
You are waiting for external validation, for someone else to finally say your story is legitimate. But that validation, it has to come from you first. Your lived experience is your credential. Start acting like the expert you already are. Now, the recording studio. This place is about permanence. What happens here is captured. It lasts. This dream is a signal that your soul is ready to build something that will outlive you, something that goes way beyond the daily grind of life. It's a call to create something that endures. And then, maybe the most potent dream of all, you see your audience. You feel their presence. This is not an abstraction. This is your subconscious confronting you with the real, human people your voice is meant for. And they are waiting. This dream just obliterates the idea that your voice is only for you. Its purpose is to connect. So the work now is to make that connection real. Forget demographics. Picture one person. Maybe it's the version of you from 5 years ago. What did she desperately need to hear? Feel what it's like to be the voice that finally reaches her. That feeling? That's your compass. So when you wake up from one of these dreams, the message couldn't be clearer. Your soul is speaking directly to you. The only question left is, are you brave enough to listen? Part 3, let's get right into it. Look, understanding the dream, that's just step 1. It's only half the work. The other half is actually moving. There is no right time. There's just now. So let's go. Okay, first things first. Before you even think about building something out there in the world, you've got to go inward. This is the private work, the foundational stuff. It's all about clearing out the blocks that stop you before you even take the first step. So I'm talking to you, the woman who had that dream about a podcast and felt this jolt of electricity, right? But it was mixed with this deep sense of shame. Your first move isn't buying a mic. No, it's reclaiming your voice. And here's the practice. This is non-negotiable. For 30 straight days, you're going to answer one question. What would I say if I knew no one would use it against me? You write for 10 minutes. You don't edit, you don't stop, and you absolutely do not go back and read it. You just let it exist. Let it out. And let me be crystal clear. This is urgent. That truth you're holding inside, it doesn't just sit there. It metabolizes. It turns into anxiety, chronic pain, actual physical illness. This isn't me being dramatic. This is clinical reality. Your silence is literally costing you your physical health. This practice isn't just a good idea, it's essential. All right, now for the woman who has spent her whole life being told she's too much. You know who you are. Too loud, too intense, too whatever. The one who learned to turn her own volume down just to make other people feel comfortable in the room. Your practice? It sounds simple, but trust me, it's not easy. It's incredibly potent. For 21 days, you're going to stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and you're going to say out loud, I am allowed to be this. And when that feeling rises up in your chest, that resistance, that cringe, and it will rise up, your only job is to witness it. Don't fight it, just see it, and give yourself permission anyway. Because here's the real deal. Being too much for some people means you are exactly the right amount for the people who are starving for what you have. You've been shrinking to fit into rooms that were never, ever your size. That podcast dream, that's the door to your actual room. Okay, so you've started to clear out some of that internal junk. Now what? How do you actually build a bridge from insight to action? How do you make this real? This is where we shift. We're moving from the inner work to outer expression. It's about taking everything you've just dug up and finally giving it a shape, a voice, a form out here in the world. This is for the woman who is walking through grief or trauma. That dream you had, that's a signal. That is your soul telling you that your pain is starting to mature into wisdom. And guess what? That wisdom comes with an obligation. So here's the practice. You're going to write your testimony. And I don't mean the sanitized Hallmark card version. I mean the real one, the one where you were messy and angry and barely holding it together. You write it all down just for you. And then you get to decide what parts of this are mine to keep and what parts belong to the woman out there who needs to hear it just to survive. You have to get this. Right now, at this very moment, there is a woman living through the exact thing you've already come out of. And she thinks it's unsurvivable. She thinks it's the end. Your story is the evidence, the living proof that it is not. Holding it back isn't neutral. It's a choice. All right, you. I'm talking to you now. The one with the notes app full of ideas.
the one who has all the research, all the expertise, all the bookmarked equipment. You have everything, except the action. Let's be honest, you've been ready for years. So here it is, your commitment. You are going to record one single episode. That's it. Not a series, not a whole show, one. You're going to pick a date, and it can't be more than 14 days from right now. And on that day, you record it. I don't care about the quality. It doesn't matter. The action is what matters. It's time to close the gap between I could and I did. And if you need some urgency, think about this. Every single month you put this off, someone who is less qualified, less experienced, and honestly less called to this than you are is launching their podcast. This isn't about competition. It's about stewardship of the call you were given. Refusing to answer it has a cost.
But what if this isn't even just about you? What if this calling, this dream, isn't just for your own expression? What if it's about something so much bigger?
And that brings us to the final stage. This is where we go beyond the self. It's about moving from a personal mission to a collective call. So listen up. If your dream consistently shows you an audience, a gathering of people listening, then your call is not a solo act. You're not just being called to speak. You are being called to build the space where other people can finally speak. Here's the work. You're going to identify 3 to 5 women in your own circle whose stories and wisdom are just unheard, and you're going to host a monthly gathering. The rule is simple. Each woman gets 20 minutes to speak without any interruption. Your job, to hold the space, to make the room that you needed but never had. Because this, right here, is about legacy. Real leadership isn't about having followers. It's about creating more leaders. The voices you amplify, that's the work that echoes long after you're gone. The ripple effect of that, you can't even begin to calculate it. So let's just bottom line this. That dream you keep having, it's not a cute little hobby. It's not a curiosity. It is a commission. It is an assignment handed directly to you. It was given to you for a reason. And so the only question left, the only one that really matters, is are you going to answer it?